right below Bobby. It's time to dive. Welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast. Episode 107. Is video game cheating ever, and I mean ever, okay? With me, George, who's always joined by Bobby, and I think he's going to get an eyebrow raise out of himself today because this one's a little edgy. Save states for save states to my never, ever even looked at a guide. Bobby, how's it going?
What's up, bro? How's everything?
Yeah, I'm good. Starting up vicious rumours across the internet about you being a safe state machine.
I know.
It's the only way I can protect my credence online. Tom's done an autobiography and I've started reading out of it. It's also like a help guide about how to be a hero. Mm-hmm. And I'm now the evil guy of the podcast. You're the shining white knight. I am the guy whose ego's got the better of him and he's completely lost touch with reality. That's me now.
It all depends on perspective, man.
Well, my perspective is completely warped and twisted. So, again, last week we had some issues with our phone system getting tapped. So we've used El Buccio's old secure phone to hopefully record this week. And next week we're hoping to both be living in a new location. Mm-hmm. New series. Oh, cheeky. Not sure. Bear with us. We're working it all out. Thing is, new and old fans sat there, eager as I don't know what, Bobby. Certainly an eager thing. Maybe someone who hasn't eaten for a while that's just been shown a bowl of soup. That's how eager they are. Okay. Coming up in the show, we've got some news. In there, some something related to Sonic news, but it's sad. So bring your tissues. I've got plenty to say on that subject. Then we arrive at the feature where I've got to ask you: is video game cheating ever? Is it ever okay, or is it and what constitutes cheating? We're gonna lay all that out, okay? After that, the real deal. As you know, Storm's up the drive. He's got a boot full this week, especially after last week's glowing eulogy to Gold Rush the game that I never bought because I watched a couple of playthroughs on YouTube and thought, so it unfolds like that every single time. So I'm just I'm not just doing busy work for the sake of busy work. There's a whole dig it, process it, same result comes out every time. Unless I've got the wrong end of the stick, like, yeah, there's lots of ground to process, but if you dig there, reload a game, new game, dig in that position, it's there. Like, no. Give me gold. Let me chase gold.
Yeah.
Might be wrong. I'm doing some more research. Some would say just buy the game. But the thing is, I don't want to be disappointed because I really like the show. And I always wanted the game to be something special. After a little bit of research, it might not be what I want it to be. It's not quite Farming Simulator. It's like 10% back from the realism of that.
Okay.
So, anyway, once Stingrays done and I finish waxing eulogy about Gold Rush the game, what am I doing? We've had a sponsor bit from them last week. Yeah, do you know what? We're shills. We'll work for money. Then I have to ask Bobby what he's hoping to play. But before we ask him what he's hoping to play, Odders, welcome back to the family. You popped your head up above the parapet and now you've gone back down. Like a submarine, you're maintaining radio silence yet again. I like what you're doing. You reached out and then you just got back down. Well, set for periscope depth. I couldn't even say that. I got so excited I couldn't even get the word depth out my body. I said the first bit, but then couldn't access the TH in my mind. How very
Every time I hear that, I think of Sean Connery in Deep Red Sea. That was it called?
Hunt for Red October.
Oh, yes, that's it.
AKA the Deep Red Sea. Same
I
film,
guess.
right? Or maybe that's one of those times where the Hunt for Red October comes out and some smaller film studio goes, we better come up with a film that's got red in it. It's about a submarine from Russia. Yeah. What about the Big Red Sea? Do it, okay?
Do it.
As long as it's not Clifford the Big Red Dog. We've made that mistake before. Give me Big Deep Red. Give me just blood red sea. I don't give a damn. Anyway, Otis set for periscope depth as I ask Bobby. And I'm excited because if you're on the Discord, you would know what he's about to say and elaborate on. Click the link tree. Bobby, what you been playing?
I played Maneater.
Oh my goodness!
I'm not gonna lie. When I was playing it, I was a female shark.
Oh, okay.
So I played that song "Maneater" by Nelly Furtado a couple times. It just went with the flow.
Is the song in the game?
No, but I played it on the headset.
Oh, that's a shame. Imagine if it was.
That would have been amazing. That's it. It just goes with the flow. So there's lots of Easter eggs in the game, especially when you go to you have to collect all the scenery. Mm-hmm. So they had like a SpongeBob reference. They had a Cthulhu reference. It reference so many that I can even imagine. Caddyshack. And it's like it's making fun of ocean conservation. The dirty ocean and how we act and how we throw stuff in there. So it's kind of like a little bit informative, but in a funny way. Yeah. Because it's like a fake reality show. So they're watching this shark get revenge on this shark hunter.
I designed your perfect game, but you still don't like it. What went wrong?
No, it was pretty cool how they did it. It wasn't that long. So if you're not a completionist, it would have taken you maybe 5-6 hours to beat, which is fine. It is what it is. For $40, that might have been a bit too much for such a short game, but it was fun. You could do stuff with it. It did kind of get repetitive, but I enjoyed it because it was how they did the story was funny. That's what I liked about it. Because this guy's like an old shark hunter, and he finally caught his, the one that got away type story. And now the daughter of that shark is getting revenge on that guy. So I thought it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Right, okay. I've held off. I've been trying to build up a PS5 rainy day stash, and PlayStation have helped with that, with their PSN downloads and all that. And, got a reasonably healthy little backlog. Probably not as healthy as one would like, because I'd like to see a few more scalps on the pile. But I had a little count up the other day. I was like, crikey, this PS5 scenario, there's me saying I ain't got anything on it, and then where the hell did all this rabble come from? What other games have you been playing, or is that it?
No, I beat that, and then I'm still playing Alienation because I'm ready. I have everything.
Oh, you're ready to drop, aren't you?
I'm just ready to do the hardcore mode. Yeah, but my stepfather still has a couple things to do, which is just grinding. He'll get it eventually. Okay. And my boy Marlon has to do one more thing. And then we can move on to
Stop, wait.
Hardcore.
Stop, wait. He's had too many mentions. I'm going to make him a Baron.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Rise, Baron Marlon.
Baron, I like that. Sounds good, Baron Marlon.
It's the lowest aristocratic title, but I think that he's just on the fringes, isn't he? He's a man that helps, Lord Bobby there do his day-to-day. So it'd be nice for him to be the same level as you when you're out, doing your Sniper 3 and all
so, kind of ready for that to be done. And then I'm playing Wreckfest.
Another PSN game.
Yeah, I really don't like racing games, but I love Destruction Derby, and I really miss Twisted Metal. And this is amazing. I downloaded the...
Is it a suitable enough eulogy? The only reason I ask is because Destruction Derby was a very, very simple game. It was in a time before trophies, and it was a time before, people could go online and check what you've done with the game. And basically, I think a lot of people... I like circuit racing in games, especially. I always have. I don't know why. I kind of dig it, ovals or whatever. As long as it's a circuit that you do laps off, I'm kind of into it. First time I played Destruction Derby, immediately went into the bowl. Destruction Derby is famous for being the first game I brought home for a Sony PlayStation system at launch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, sometime around launch. And I was blown away by it. It looked amazing. But after that sort of like, yay of the bowl, everyone smash and smoke and reload for quite a long time, actually. The circuit racing was the stuff that made me come back. And if memory serves, I was only a young lad. I maxed out. I finished it. And bar like the odd when your mates come round or your dad walks in, like, what's this all about? Oh, let me show you the graphics on this. Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. Destruction Derby was that. Wreckfest. Is it more grown up? I think it's what I'm saying. Is it more simmy, or is it,
no,
maybe
it's old school Destruction Derby and PS5 graphics?
Wow.
There's nothing. It's not, you drive around the circle or whatever the track looks like. You try to get first place. There's little bonus objectives you have. You don't have to do, but you get a little bit more money if you do. So it's like, doesn't matter if you get first place, third place, eighth place. If your bonus objective is to destroy 5 cars during that rate, then you try to destroy 5 cars because they're trying to destroy you. So you can fishtail people out the way. The car has actual damage. So if you ram somebody's right fender, it might be crushed, gone. You'll see their wheel wiggle, and they won't have the traction. I think it's great. Online, I played online with Ginger's game room, actually. We did the online trophies together.
My son?
Yep. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be just did it for a trophy.
How is my adopted son of the show?
He's doing great. He's doing fine.
Good.
He asked me if I understand his accent. I'm like 100% perfect. There's not an Englishman I don't understand.
I bet he sounds a little bit more like Sean Bean than me, doesn't he? In your ears.
A little bit. I like it. It was soothing to my ear.
Okay.
But online, so basically the regular game, you go around trying to win circuits. That's it. And then it gets harder and harder as you go on. You can even adjust the difficulty, but easy is too easy. So medium, I think, is perfect because they're hitting you, you're hitting them, but you kind of have a chance. When you play hard or realistic, and your right wheel goes, you're done. Online, these people don't care, bro. All they want to do is destroy your car, and you have professionals when they only drive in reverse.
Wow.
Because they are just straight up demolishing you with their trunk.
Or they're trying to protect
not their engine.
Yeah.
See, I go in with the head, but then I'm like, oh man, half my car's dead because I shouldn't have done that. And online people don't care. It's online is actually really fun.
Let me just remind you, what's the game called again?
Wreckfest.
A festival of wreckage.
It's amazing.
I think they probably read the back of the box and went online with the anticipation of a game called Wreckfest. You've gone on. I don't know what you've gone online with. Formula One, probably. That's an interesting sign from you. When you said that you've been playing that, I was actually slightly intrigued because you are right. You're not a man that normally waxes lyrical about a driving game, but it brings me great pleasure to know that you found some sort of enjoyment in Wreckfest. Maybe it's the nostalgia or what. I don't know.
I think the gameplay is just simple. Like you have an hour to kill. You really can't get into a story-driven game. A couple races here or there, you can leave it out. You know what I mean? Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, fair play.
So it's not so bad, actually. It's pretty good. So that's it for me. What about you?
Again, I've not been in my usual locations. So PS5, frustratingly, has been off the menu. But in response to what we spoke about last week, there is something I've been able to do. Digitally, I've got hold of... I had the Jack and Daxter series on Vita anyway, from memory. But I have acquired... No, I didn't. I had Ratchet and Clank, I think. And I have acquired the Sly and the Jack and Daxter one. So I've got on there all 3 of the platform trilogies that the PS2 is known for. And I just started with Ratchet and Clank, and I'm just sort of munching through that and thoroughly enjoying it. You know, they're just the classic collect 'em ups. You need X before you can move to Y, or you can buy this or that or the other. Or...
I like that better. I'm gonna use that. Collect 'em ups.
Collect 'em up, yeah.
Well,
any open
See, just collect them up sounds so much better.
Yeah.
That's part of my new vocabulary now.
I'm gonna be controversial here and put Assassin's Creed as a collectible. It's not an open world game at all. Anyone who tells me it is, I want to slap down. There's, behind the scenes of that, and I'm guilty. I've dabbled in them all.
It's open world collect 'em up.
It's basically what it is.
If you don't do none of the collecting, the game is much shorter than you would imagine.
Oh God, yeah.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Do you like video games, podcasts, and reminiscing? I'm actor, video game writer, and total sweetie pie Connor Savage McCabe, and on each episode of Call Me By Your Game, I sit down with a guest for an intimate look at a special game from their past. Did you and your dad beat Spyro the Dragon over the holidays? Or was Halo 4 the one thing that united your roommates during your senior year of college? Stories like these are what Call Me By Your Game is about. From video game content creator Janet Garcia to Hades voice actor Courtney Vinay's, I interview wonderful comedians and game industry friends about these memories. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts, and maybe someday you'll call me by your game.
Well, a lot of when I was in my phase of doing them back to back, the ones that I didn't do any of the deep dive on and just mainline the story, I probably popped out within a couple of days.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. Other than that, I think that might have been all I've been playing. I've been perusing loads of stuff. I've been putting loads of things in like wish lists online and you know me, and weird stuff like that. I've been researching lots. Thinking as well about putting up some topics for what we want the show to be about. So 4 topics, maybe we supply 2, and Bobaloba organises or similar. Don't feel like Bobaloba has to do all the work. Obviously, he's one of the people in the Discord that helps us maintain it all, and he probably does the 99.9% of the heavy lifting and setting things up because we don't know how to.
He's guiding the bullet.
He is guiding the bullet. But I'm wondering if we suggest 2 topics for the upcoming episode. And it might not be that we can get it done for next week because it might take a while to sort of bash this out. And then they vote on some that they've submitted, and then 4 go through. So if you want a history of X, or if you want a Y, or you want a B, or you want a show about that, you let us know, vote for it, and we'll record a show about whatever it is you want.
Oh, sounds dope. This
is one of the things that maybe could start happening. The show's big enough now, it's mature enough, it's got an engaged enough and intelligent and articulate enough audience where we can say what you want to hear about, and we can sculpt the show about that. And if you want to be involved in sculpting the show in the direction you want it to go, certainly on topics, get involved in the Discord, because that's the only. Normally we'll let you comment on Instagram, we'll let you comment on Twitter. We don't have the comments on Discord at the moment for show topics because it would be very complicated to organize. But the Discord is the place where you can join and you can help sculpt the direction of the show. So if you like the show, if you're waiting for a sequel to this great episode that you remember but it's never come, whatever you want, you maybe knock it out. So I think me and Bobby will supply 1 each, and then you guys can vote over something that you want to be about. Then we'll boil it down to 4 or 2 or whatever, and that's where we maybe take the lead from. So no promises, but I think that might be a nice way to embrace season 3. Let the show and the fans decide. Do you think that probably should have come in the news? I've done it early. You know me. Always turning up early. Never disappointing. Always disappointing. Yes. Anyway, the fact that I'm always disappointing shouldn't be news. But I tell you one thing. I tell you where we've scoured, Bobby. On our hands and knees, the very darkest region of the internet, to bring you the latest stories. First up, if I may, I would like to. The headline.
Do it.
Time waits for no man. Yuji Naka has an incredible legacy in gaming history, including his founding role and work on the original Sonic the Hedgehog games and a number of other Sega classics such as Nights, Into Dreams, and Phantasy Star Online. His own studio, an independent studio called Probe, also produced some notable and fun titles in Nintendo's past generations, including the intriguingly Street Pass games. More recently, however, he's been at the forefront of a director of a much exciting game, Balan Wonderland, at Square Enix. Sadly, the poor critical reception to the game has prompted plenty of debate. The high profile of the release was met by an extremely rough launch, though there were certainly vocal supporters of the game as well. Regardless of the various perspectives around Balan Wonderland, it won't have been deemed a successful project. It seems, based on Nakasan's online profiles, that he then departed Square Enix at the end of April. The news of which has recently been doing the rounds on social media. Following the widespread news that he left Square Enix, Yuji Naka posted a tweet with a short update. And we've included the translation, which was done by our friends at Gamatsu, which as always with Japanese is quite frequently broad, but he says basically, I resigned from Square Enix at the end of April. While I cannot share the reason right now, I hope to be able to discuss when the time comes. As for what I'll do in the future, I'm already 55 years old, so I may as well retire. Now, I may as well. Now, for me, Bobby, I just want to put a little bit there. There's the facts. We've put them out there. That's the news in a way. There's the facts reported, but I want to put an opinion piece in here.
Do it.
We talked about this loosely off air, but let me say to you now, in 100 years' time, people are going to look back at the early 90s and say, what mattered? And they're going to boil it down to pretty much, and this is no offense, but if let's say you're teaching history in school, you got to boil it down. So you're going to boil it down to Sega versus Nintendo. Right? Yes, I know there's PC games. Yes, I know there are other consoles, but you're going to boil it down to what's really been historically described as the most accurate thing to talk about, which really illustrates everything in a microcosm. Sega versus Nintendo. Sonic versus Mario. You've got the creator of Sonic. Now, let's talk about the creator of Mario for a moment. He's everywhere. He's known in the industry. He's lauded as a legend. You probably even know him if you're not. You've probably heard his name if you're not even into games. Sonic the Hedgehog, a rival from the 90s, almost as big. Yes, his name's been walked through the mud because of what's gone on with Sega and other things. But Yuji Naka saying he may as well retire because he's done a game that's out of his glittering career. One game's probably not hit what Square Enix expected, and I pour more shade on them because it seems to me as a house, a software house, producer, developer of games, their track record isn't amazing. Like, yeah, no. I know they've got some high points, but the last game of theirs I remember playing was Marvel Avengers. And like, yeah, it was great to begin with, but then it hit hard, deep down underground, and it was buried. But I was a proponent of that game. I encouraged you to buy it, and the time that we had with the story was enjoyable. That's all I wanted to do. As soon as my pain threshold got to like, yeah, I'm feeling pain, sack that game off. I don't want anything more to do with it. Like, why would you do that to yourself? But I want to play. Yeah. So what? I want 6 heads, but some things just ain't ever going to happen. Park it. So Yuji Naka, he also did Knights, which again, you see, for me, I wonder if in his own internal narrative, he's done Sonic. His first thing he ever did, he touched, was absolute gold. Then, through no fault of his own, they decided to leave Sonic on the sidelines and develop a new series called Knights. I quite like Knights, and I know we say this quite often, but what I would say about that game is it's one hell of an acquired taste. It needs a special pad to get the most out of it. You can't just use your standard pad. Yada, 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 yada. Very different game to what you're expecting if you wanted Sonic. Not a bad game. Fantasy Star Online, amazing piece of technology. I was playing online with people from all over the world in 1999, 2000. That, to me, is the future in the palm of your hand. Yuji Naka's got lots to be proud of. Has he had a bad turn? Have they been disrespectful to a genius?
I think so. I mean, every great person fails, and probably numerous times. Well, and then they keep coming because that's the point.
You can't improve unless you fail.
Exactly.
You don't know what you've done wrong.
Listen, even when Gretzky failed, and he's a legend, but if he didn't fail, how'd he get better?
I agree with everything you're saying.
Same thing with Mario, though. Has every Mario game been really, really good? No. Come on.
But for some reason, Mario gets away unscathed every time, and Sonic gets dragged through the street and kicked if he dares to produce a game that's anything less than a 7 out of 10. How dare he?
Yeah.
And
it seems to me like Sonic fans want the same Sonic game.
Yeah, well.
So then just play the old ones.
Yeah, but when they get that game, they say, "Oh, this is just the same as the first game."
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You have to change it up.
Do you know what I'm going to do? Do you know what I'm going to try and do? The last time I was in a video game shop, which was a couple of weeks ago, I saw Balan Wonderland was already, from what I thought I saw, sub $20. I might pick it up.
Yeah, I would. This might be one of those games that might be the most rarest game in your collection, or it'll skyrocket in price.
One thing I would say about Balan Wonderland is it seems to have been developed in isolation from every video game refinement that's happened since he last made a game. And I think if you're an experienced gamer and you've played games from an era that this is really based upon, an era of gaming, the collect 'em up or whatever, the platform, the 3D platformer, I think if you played it and you've had experience retro games, or you've been playing games for a long time, I think you might come away from that feeling very happy. I think for the majority of people now, it's probably too much. But that's that. Bobby? Should we call time on Mr. Yuji? Should we let him move on?
Doesn't have to.
No, what I mean is, should we let him sit down? Because he's been stood up this whole time. Now we've been
he can sit down.
Yeah.
Let him sit down. Yeah. He can lay down if he wants with a pillow.
Lay down with a pillow.
Yeah. There's a blanket on the edge of the couch.
Knock yourself out.
Put that bad boy on.
So we're in El Buccio's submarine this week, just so you know. Obviously, he's got one. I don't know what he uses it for. I think he must have been moving a lot of coronavirus medicine around. It's all I can imagine he was doing. But he wanted, I don't know why it needs to be done underwater, like why no one can see. I guess he didn't want to panic people that this town needed medical treatment. So he would emerge at night time, offload his medical treatment. Certainly on the times I've helped him. Oh, crikey, what did my lawyer say? Never helped El Buccio with the submarine.
Yeah.
I never helped El Buccio in the times I never helped him with the submarine. I never saw anyone get their medicine and not look unhappy. They always look very happy. I just on the side.
Or we might, from our perspective, they looked happy.
Yeah. So
I don't really know if they were happy.
We're gonna have to do a couple of weeks under the sea. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. And then we'll emerge. We'll have a new place. Season 3 will be upon us. Unless the fans love the submarine era, in which case we will be in it forever.
Kind of cramped, though.
I know. Now, one hopes that's a Pulse in DualSense 5 in your pocket, because otherwise, I'm not ready for the show to develop in this way.
Yeah.
Tell me, whisper in my ear this next bit of news.
Size isn't everything.
This is harassment. I'm sorry. If El Buccio went in jail,
That's
I'll be putting a thing like, why are you saying that? Why are you getting in this close? And
if you whisper that somewhere and your job and HR heard that, you could be in trouble. Every
listener's heard this now.
Yeah, that's okay.
You're for the high jump, Sunbeam.
It sounded good.
Tell me, elaborate on this. What are you actually referring to?
So the upcoming Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart will weigh in at a very modest 33 GB. The news broke out as excited fans got busy pre-installing Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, which launches next week on June 11th. While a lot of contemporary games infamously take up a lot of space on our collective hard drives, Rift Apart early adopters commented on the game's surprisingly small size of just 33.618 GB. Sizes are getting smaller on the native PS5 due to the compression techniques and SSD. This game arrives June 11th.
Yeah, from memory.
I'm pumped.
Are you excited for that one, Bobby?
I really am.
I
played the original 3.
Yeah.
I played All for One. And then they have a bunch of other games I didn't play, which I wish I might still do. I'm definitely gonna get this game for sure.
I've got it ordered. Yeah.
Classic, old school.
I want to see more about I want to just. I want the PS5's fans to kick in, you know? I want to hear it like, whoa, this is a game. What the
I'll tell you
hell's
what, I
going
haven't
on?
really heard the fans at all.
No, still not to this day. No.
Like, I opened it to clean it, but it's really clean. Because surprisingly.
The loudest I've heard it be, and I think it was the disc. If I could put a DVD in it, you know, disc can be a bit warped sometimes. It was obviously, that was the loudest I've heard it, and it was like a... Wasn't its fault, was the crappy media I was sticking in it. I don't know why I get these new consoles and use them as DVD players. I don't know what I'm thinking. DVD players £2 at the flea market. That's good news, because to be honest with you, when we entered into this era, everyone was sort of worried about how upgrading these new consoles could be. Now you've either got Microsoft's solution, which is their sort of off the peg, you have to have it this way sort of solution. You got Sony's yet to be realized solution of, well, you can go PC World and you can buy this and you can stick it in, but don't get any of them. You got to wait for us to test them all, and then we'll let you know. That's not open to you yet, so don't even worry about that. Whereas if you're in Team Xbox, if you want a little bit of extra diddly in your widdly, you can go and buy it. It's not cheap diddly, but if you want diddly in your widdly,
it's
you can
there.
buy diddly in your widdly. I think PlayStation's probably going to be expensive diddly as well.
For sure.
But there are options. We don't know, do we, what's going to go on there? I think, again, need to just clear that up. We know it's coming. I can't imagine at the moment anyone's that desperate for space. But there could be, you know. There could be. Question. Do you have an opinion or take on the news we missed, dear listener? Have we totally got the wrong end of the stick of Ratchet and Clank, and actually 33 gigabytes is more than impressive? Or maybe, even possibly, if we took the time to play Balan Wonderland, we'd also be asking for Yuji Naka's head on a plate. Doubtful, but you never know. If they want to get in contact with us and or join the Discord so they can challenge and change the very direction of this show, how would they do that, Bobby?
They could reach us on Instagram or Twitter at Unofficial Controller Podcast. They can email us at questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. And in the Twitter or Instagram links, there's a link which they can click to join the Discord, which is where it's at.
And hot routes off to all of our content, whatever it may be. So welcome to the family. Now, last week, I think I threatened, I want to see new names. I want to see new faces in the feature. You know what? You ask, and you shall be rewarded, because like a loyal band, they've rallied round us, Bobby. It's been the most rewarding experience to know that they listen. Everyone listens, but you know, to our actual core. There's lots of new listeners this week, lots of old returning faces. So it's great news. But the thing is, we were so bold is to go on Instagram and post a question. Is cheating in video games ever okay? Stroke, what do you class as cheating? Because one man's cheat is another man's this is what I need to do just to get by, friends. So back off, all right? Yeah, I finish games, but I do it my way, in God mode. All right, pal, fine. I'll leave you to it. Thing is, I'm sure we've all been there personally, and I'll get to this in the show. I barely have. I've never been a fan of them. I don't know why. I'll stand on the sidelines looking in, but I've barely ever dabbled bar a big head mode here or there. Interesting. I know. Thing is, back in the day, cheats were an integral part of video gaming. You couldn't even buy a magazine without a third of it being dedicated to up, down, left, rights, triangles, and right twos all over the place, developing big head mode, infinite weapons, and all sorts of ramble. You know, these were exciting times. People made money preying off their knowledge of cheats. That's true.
True.
Dude would walk around with an A to Z tips book in his back pocket, writing off combos for all sorts of games. And you get one of these A to Z books and think to yourself, my game's not going to be in here. But guess what? More often than not, it was. Now, that involved us probably doing something in the test screen. Up, down, play this tune, play that tune, play this tune, play that tune. Bing, you're in the mode. You can do this, that, and the other. Don't forget, some of the most famous codes in gaming have created legends all of their own.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they were innocent times. They were DLC. That was the developers saying to you, do you want to play this in a funny way? Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's locked on your system. You're all good. As video games developed, they went online. Then, your competitiveness between two friends, which may have involved pulling a cord out, may have involved resetting the console, may have involved just punching your friend or colleague clean on in the face as hard as you can. I wouldn't recommend that, because it might hurt someone. But back in the rough and tough 80s, a punch to the face, a headlock and a noogie were probably just as much a cheat as the Konami code.
Yeah.
When things get online, though, all of a sudden, those strangers you play with just for a bit of fun to fill your afternoon become professional scalps that have to be taken. Now, you got to get serious or you're going to get dusted, pal. So you're going to have to get an aimbot. You're going to have to make sure your lag is less than theirs so you can be a champion at this game. Hey, do you know what? You've got into retro gaming. You don't play on those old consoles because you don't believe in it. But you've got some ROMs, you're playing them on your Mac, you're feeling like an absolute hero. Well, not so much of a hero, because you just saved the game. And the original game never let you do that. You're no longer a gamer. Are you a cheating gamer? Well, this is what we're here to decide. Now, obviously, there's all sorts of furore about cheating in games. People kicked out of clans. People even kicked out of gaming altogether. Derided, mocked, have to change their gamer tag, or whatever else, or worse crime. Possibly even serve time. Now, esports is a big business these days. Cheating's frowned upon, Bobby. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even looking in a guide could be classed as cheating. Well, as always, we ask these questions of our great and gracious listeners, and we were overwhelmed by a response. It was very strong and passionate about the subject. Bobby, let me confess to you, as far as cheating's concerned, I'm going to lay it out on the table. Okay? I'm going to lay it all out. Every crime that I've ever committed as far as cheating. Back in the day, I would flick through the books and I would see these codes and I would feel naughty putting them in. Like, I think I put a level select on Super Star Wars from memory. I don't really remember what my next cheat was. I think I'd always flick through the tips section, but they never referred to a section I was in a game, you know, where it'd be like, oh, I'm stuck on this bit, and the journalist would be like, oh, just do this, this, and this, and you need that, and do that, and you through. Never seemed to be on my bit. When I got the N64, more guides start appearing, walkthroughs and things, and I know a couple of them got me unstuck on sections of Zelda I'd got particularly stuck. I don't know what to do. I've been stuck on this for like 3 weeks, and I'm really sick of it, and I want to keep playing it, but I can't do anymore. Boom, magazine came out. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, just do this, this, and this, and I'm done. Wasn't obvious to me back in the day. And I've done similar on games, even to this day. Like, you get stuck, my time's limited, so instead of I'll have a go. If the grey matter doesn't produce me the answer within the first 20 minutes, maybe, of like messing around with the physics, I'll like, this is grinding on too long, and I don't see an obvious way. Walk through, skip straight to the bit I want, only read the bit I want, and then come out, get that bit done, and move on. I don't want to see a game go on the bottom of a scrap pile because I just couldn't. I was too dumb to work it out. Yeah. And what gives me grace is maybe I just couldn't get my head around that developer's mindset at that particular time. But what makes me happy is when we carry on from that and I never need to look at the guide again. It's like, no, it wasn't me. It was just that particular situation probably wasn't very clearly executed, or it wasn't described very well. Or sometimes in games, you see something that you think you're meant to be doing, but that's not the thing that unlocks the thing that you need to be doing right now. So there's a great big seesaw in the middle distance. Maybe it's that. No, it's probably the red light flashing behind you. But seesaw in the middle distance begs, and did the camera linger on the seesaw as it went from cutscene to normal? Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm going to spend ages on the seesaw because, do you know what? Shiny stuff. You know, games, it's never that clear and you're kind of lost on your own, aren't you? So and then, I guess, I don't think I ever put a code into GTA, ever, believe it or not. Just never did. Didn't think it was right. Wanted to do it all properly. Yeah. I think I've probably pulled a wire out at gaming. I've been super frustrated that I've been getting my ass whooped, I have to tell you. But, you know, some of the best moments I've had have just been straight, pure gaming. I remember a guy listened to this show, actually, Carl. Me and him had an absolute great uni rally session, and there was literally 0.001 separating us. And I could have pulled his cord out quite easy several times, but I didn't want to. I wanted to win, but not like that. So before we run through our listeners, you're a big Platinum King. Your reputation's on the line here, friend. Have you ever cheated?
Of course. Everyone cheated.
That was my jaw hitting the floor. There's no way
cheated.
Platinum Kings cheated.
Yeah, back in the day, sure.
Okay.
Especially when you're a younger kid and you can't get past a certain area. Or
That sounds like me now.
Or you bought a Game Genie because you wanted, like, Battletoads.
Yeah.
Do you need real skill to play Battletoads? Some kids love that game. Some kids never got past the second level.
True.
So I need the Game Genie to see what the hell their level looks like. Or you're playing Metal Gear on Nintendo. How are you supposed to know the north, northwest, whatever, south, direction to get to the secret bunker? How would you know that?
Mate,
it's not even in the
don't even
game.
get me started on Metal Gear 1.
Okay. What about Zelda?
What about in Metal Gear 1 with the floor?
Yes.
At the end. That is absurd.
How are you supposed to know? So you're gonna die.
Never know. No, you're right.
You're gonna keep dying. You're gonna keep putting the password in, and you're gonna keep dying, and then it's memory. And you know what? I don't have time for this. So, cheat code. I can float. See ya. What about Zelda? Imagine someone playing Zelda on Nintendo for the first time. There's no real map. There's no direction you have to go to. You can wander around for hours trying to find that one bush you got to push to find a staircase. Good luck.
Yeah, I find that there's no reason for that, is there?
No,
That's
it's
my
just
frustration with that.
old school game design. Because by definition, cheat, okay, a dishonest act or unfair advantage in order to gain, okay, an advantage, especially in a game or examination. So it's looking at a guy cheating. I mean, if you couldn't figure it out and someone else had to tell you, is that really a cheat?
Wait, just read
Did they
that.
give you an assist?
Read out that again.
Cheat. Act dishonestly or unfairly in order to gain an advantage, especially in a game or examination.
Okay.
So technically,
I've got the lawyers on the phone.
even if,
It's a dishonest act.
yeah,
But what if you admit openly, immediately, you
still
used
cheated.
the guide? It's a dishonest act.
Okay, so you have a girlfriend. You tell her in the open, I did something dishonest. You cheated. Whether
Well,
you said it
immediately, it's not.
or whether you hid it, you cheated. Right? Using a Konami code is cheating. Even though the game developers put it in there for you, it's still cheating.
Okay.
Because
I'm trying to help
without
you.
without
You're
the
going to
Konami code, could people be could they beat Contra? Or maybe they use the Konami code to practice the levels to get better, and then they did it legit, because I can beat Contra without the code. Right? Certain games like Battletoads, listen, I could beat Battletoads, but it will take me forever to relearn and memorize, and I don't really have time, nor do I care to beat Battletoads again.
Question. Have you seen on Instagram the account Battletoad Overload?
No.
A guy on a quest to beat Battletoads on the NES on as many different CRTs as he can, and he finds them. He's got a YouTube as well as the Insta, and if he sees a CRT for collection on the side of the road, he picks it up, he takes it back to his house, he plugs in his NES, and he beats Battletoad on it. You see how much he loves Battletoad. He beats Battletoad on it, and then puts the TV out his house, free for collection to someone else to have.
That's wild.
The guy is absolute. You got to check his Instagram.
I'll check it out. That's insane. What else is cheating? Me and my stepfather playing NHL 94. I'm winning. Last period, he would pull my controller or just lay on top of me. I can't pick him up. He's too heavy. Or he would just grab my hand and literally hold my hand while he's holding the controller because I couldn't move my hand from his hand while he's trying to score a goal. It's cheating, but it's fun. See, that thing is kind of fun. But if you're going to say, oh, I beat this game. Okay, did you beat the game legit? Did you use a code? Because let's say, and like Punch-Out. You can't really cheat in Punch-Out unless you just don't play the game and get the last password from Mike Tyson. But you get passwords as you beat, and you progress. That's okay. It's not really cheating. I don't think there's a cheat in Mike Tyson unless there's a Game Genie code. But if you didn't beat Mike Tyson legitimately,
there's going to be a Game Genie code.
You cheated. But sometimes you beat the game a million times and you don't want to play it all through again. So you put a cheat code in just to have fun with it again. Who cares? It's your game.
I think if you beat it, legitimately,
do whatever
all
you
bets
want.
are off.
Who cares?
All bets are off.
Or, like I said, you're really stuck. Listen, I just don't care. I want to get past this level. I want to see what the game ending is. Let me just beat it. I don't care. Boom. You cheated. No one would care. No one would care. But if you're going to legitimately say I beat something, then you should beat it legit. Like look at Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Fun game. It's amazing game. Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, great. How much fun did you have when you were just adding cheats to it was amazing.
I missed out. I never did that, so I don't know what that's on.
Man, when you drop a tank from the sky just to do wreck havoc, or you can't pass a level because you get murdered and you put infinite rocket launchers and you just I mean, how fun is that, bro? Right? Like, sniping.
I just love the way you said launchers, rocket launchers, baby.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Launch them over there.
Launch them. You've got to say launch
them. See ya. Get it out of here. Right?
My man.
So it's fun. I think it's great. But if you beat those games with the code, then you cheated. Doesn't count. What I don't but listen, it's your game. Do what you want to do. Doesn't matter. But if you're gonna claim legit beat, then don't cheat. If you're gonna have fun, have fun. What I do not understand is people who play online games and use cheat codes. You're trying to play to be the best. There's always somebody better than you. The only way you're going to get better is if you keep losing. Yeah. Because when you lose, you get better.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes the game's just not for you. Put the game down. But you can't be the best Call of Duty. There's a guy, For Honor, who got banned, for example, because he would quit every time he was losing. And in this server, when you quit, it doesn't count as a loss. So apparently he never lost a one-on-one battle. That's a bunch of crock, because you could lose. Anyone could beat you at any moment, period. It doesn't matter. But to cheat online to get ahead or to be the best, what do you gain from that? You're just dumb.
Fake bragging rights is what you get.
It doesn't make any sense. Right. Like for Castlevania, for example, you can't really cheat in that game. I don't know if there's any codes, but like you could use that jump back when you get hit to help you. Like certain certain levels you can jump up, let the Medusa head hit you. You would actually get knocked up to a certain staircase and skip the whole the whole area.
Which one is that?
The first game, second level. You have to go all the way to the right to climb up the staircase, to go all the way to the left. you could just, in the beginning of the area, just climb up to the highest point, the staircase you can't reach, time the Medusa jump. So she'll hit you, and then you'll bounce up the staircase.
Is that cheating, though?
No, because this is just, you're using the game mechanics to give you, and is it cheating? No, you're using the game. What the game is doing to you, you're doing back to the game. So you want to knock me back? I can use this knockback to get up here. Is it cheating? You beat the game, whatever. It's not a cheat. Or it could be. I don't know.
Let's pause this. Let's pick this up in a second. Let's get, as I said, they've answered in their droves. As it's been a busy week, so if you're not on, don't panic. We've definitely read your comment. If you're not on air, we apologise. You will be next week. We asked you guys to get in touch with your thoughts on the topic, and you did. We've interwoven those into this very feature. First out, who've we got, sir? Who's first in the mailbag?
Captain_cold25. He writes, I think it's okay once you completed a game or having it in a separate file. Personally, I don't like cheat codes as they always like a good challenge.
Well, thanks for messaging in, Captain
Fair
Cole.
enough.
I think he's probably the same mindset I am. He's a long-time listener of the show. Doesn't post often, but obviously when he gets his ire stoked, he messages in. So he also listened to the message. We want new voices, which is great. So thank you for that. This young lady is a new listener. She says, I remember buying the latest games, Movies with G. Apologies. Go follow them on Instagram. Welcome to the family. In fact, Movies with a G, you would fit right in on our Discord. Very polite. There's no swears, just like the show. They're all very above decent people. Anyway, I get distracted. I remember buying the latest games mags to get cheats for the games I was playing back in the day. Done a monkey covering her eyes emoji. My favorite cheats are the ones on Diddy Kong Racing. They didn't advance my progress, but they were a lot of fun, especially the one which changed the sound of your horn. Now I prefer just playing the game. I don't mind using YouTube for hand-on trickier games though. Is that cheating?
That's not really a cheat. No, because big head mode, it's just a visual flair.
But
like
what about watching someone do something on YouTube and then picking up the controller and doing it yourself?
Well, what's the difference if you go to your friend's house and watch him do something?
I don't know. I'm just putting it out there.
I don't think it's, considering, did you do it yourself? I guess. If you look at somebody else's test exam, right?
Yeah, but it's almost like looking at is it the same if you're playing a game and you can't quite get the jump right and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and then you watch on YouTube or you see your friend do it and you're like, oh god, yeah, well, why was I not jumping on that box? It was obvious. Now I've seen that it's there, and then that lets me on that, and then lets me on that, and then lets me on the next section. Perfect.
Was, by definition of the word cheat, would you consider that an unfair advantage?
Yes. Any question you pose to me from now on based around that, and I'm glad you brought this to the table, I will. Okay, so let's judge our listeners. Okay, so we'll rewind to Captain Gold. Now, what he says, he thinks once you've completed a game or having it in a separate file, he thinks it's okay.
Fine.
Yeah, he's not a cheater.
Mm-mm.
New listener, Movies with G, and I'm awfully sorry to suggest that you might be, but let's just disassemble your comment. No advance of the progress, horn change, nothing else. Free as a bird. Okay. Next, this will decide whether he gets to keep his title.
The Lord Thomas of Retro Gamer.
Now, now. I'm nervous now because he may be stripped of his inherited title and his lands.
Let's see. Cheat codes are very useful for me now.
Oh no!
Especially playing my retro stuff, as my old man reactions are so bad.
That's technically an unfair advantage.
I need cheats to compete. And I did use them a little back in the day. but I never felt like I had properly completed the game, as the devs wanted you to. So I always tried to play normally first. But I like what Rockstar did with Vice City. There were plenty of cheat codes, but you couldn't get 100% completion if you used them. Clever idea. They're available, but you lose out if you do so. I suppose nowadays it's more glitches and shortcuts people use to cheat. Although the action replays back in the day were also good fun. Seeing all what you could do in the game, especially on a second playthrough.
His honor
So here's
is
a man.
hanging in the balance.
No.
now.
Here's a man who cheated. I cheated. Who gives a shit? Oh, sorry, cheated. Put that out. Put something like the Nintendo Switch. Click.
We've run out of
Put that in
console
there.
startup sounds.
But we didn't use that one. So he cheated. Okay, so did I. But he always tried to play the game first.
Listen,
He gave it his best effort.
I.
Also, he's
Thing is,
an older guy.
you're his attorney-in-law, and that's fine, okay? And you've made your point. But let me refer you to the statement that Lord Thomas of Retro Gamer delivered into the courthouse today, and I read you his opening statement. As a peer of the realm, his words carry weight.
He cheated.
Okay? No. Let me say to you, Bobby, QC for the guilty, okay? You're referring to his cheating actions as being past tense.
Yeah.
Now, you would imagine a lord would carry some weight. He would understand the ramifications of his words. He's always speaking aloud. He's always writing text. He's always involved in legal jargon for the estate, collection of his grantor's collection. Let me put it to you. A man that starts his statement off with cheat codes are very useful for me now is not a man that regrets cheating. There's a man who's still cheating today and he's enjoying it.
Yeah.
So I like him a lot.
Me too.
I love him. He is our Lord. But I'm afraid actions will have to be taken. I don't want to. We have to show him the respect because of his title. We can't strip him in front of everybody. But
Yeah. We'll have a meeting with him.
serious meeting.
See, for me,
I didn't read his emojis.
well, yeah. I didn't. And that's my bad. All the platinums I got didn't cheat. Legit work. Because if you cheat, you can't even get a trophy.
No.
And then what's the point? Because it's a fake visual trophy that really nobody cares about but me. So I want to make sure that I have them legit, or else
Okay.
I'm nothing.
You know this worthless thing, George? Yeah. If I cheat, it's worthless and worthless.
It's worthless or worthless. Like, I would not go online and go to Asia and Europe to do the same thing, double, triple.
Well, let's move things along. Sawthorne Collectors got in touch. I've seen his name before, so they're not going to get their clap. But thank you for messaging in because you're not an every week commenter. They say, however you want to enjoy a game should be fine. Okay, just bearing in mind we've got the legal pros. If you're having fun, then go ahead. But it doesn't count as beating if you cheated. I use walkthroughs and videos sometimes to beat my NES games. Some people think that's cheating. To each their own, I guess. It's now for us to make a decision as to whether we think that's cheating. A walkthrough and a video to beat my NES games. Question. And this is the acid test.
Is it an unfair advantage?
Is that an unfair advantage?
It is.
So, oh no. I'm a
But I've
cheater as
seen-
well.
But I've
That
seen
makes
him
me a
beat
cheater
some
too.
legit games. His Instagram is amazing.
Agreed.
He writes good reviews about how he beats the games. He plays them old school, not on an emulator. So no save states for him. He has the original hardware. That's for sure.
So the thing that sticks in my mind is I can't move past unfair advantage. Like, I'm
That's-
willing to put myself in jail for this because I know that now.
Oh,
we've
listen.
read out what it is.
We already said it. I used him back in the day. I am a cheater. Period. I think everyone has used a cheat somehow or another. But did you beat Batman without save states and without cheating? That's what I want to know.
Who, me?
On Nintendo, on Nintendo, whatever game you said you beat, did you cheat to beat?
I don't think I only played Batman on the Atari ST stroke Amiga, and I
Did you
can't
beat it?
remember. I don't think I beat it. I think I got to the cathedral, but then never got to the top. But then I also remember, I'm sure I also remember the Joker falling as well. So whether I did or I didn't, I wouldn't want 100% say I got there without a level select because I just don't remember. I remember being super frustrated of playing the first level over and over again.
Well, if you beat the first levels, or the second, or the fifth, there's no real level select, and you used a level select cheat, I mean, you already did it, right? So why would you have to do it like Mario? If you already played all the levels, but you used the flute to skip, I mean, who cares? You did it already. Also, it's not cheating because the flute's in the game.
That is true.
But if you write down the punch out, they give you the code. They give it to you. So if you already had the code, then skip ahead. But if someone gave you the code and you didn't do it, that's dishonesty.
You know, I really apologize because I know you were saying something really important there, but I was thinking this.
Mm-hmm.
If we're in a submarine this episode, and I see a stingray go by the porthole, is that stingray or is it a stingray?
Oh, Stingray mounted a Stingray to his car.
No, I don't know, because obviously I don't know whether the stingray I saw out the porthole was Stingray because he
I
appears
see
in
what you're
different
saying.
ways. So is the Stingray or is Stingray the Stingray?
No, I saw him legit Aquamaning a Stingray with a harness and a book bag.
So this is why I apologize profusely, because I wasn't listening and I was wondering whether a stingray was a stingray.
Yeah. I mean, for me, he was riding a Stingray.
Okay, right. Well, why don't you give me what's next out the postbag, sir?
We got
as I
Comic
apologise.
Pictures 79.
The artist of the show, if you want something with our logo or one of the characters that this show's invented on something that you can wear or sleep in, hit him up. What's he got to say for himself?
He says, once upon a time, cheat codes were cool and it did appropriate things, but now they're not really a thing. And to be fair, not really needed, unless you're desperate for a big headbutt or something.
I'm that guy.
I don't really miss them, to be honest. If I could have used one or two, but I could have used one or two in Sekiro.
Fair play.
Yeah, big head mode, that's not really cheating.
I've never seen that as cheating, to be honest.
It's just a mod.
Yeah. Someone else who got in touch, Mr. Graham C. Thank you for getting in contact. He says, I think once you've played a game and earned a reward in a game, like in Resi, where you can get unlimited ammo, etc., that's fine, in my opinion. Putting a cheat code in or buying overpowered weapons takes the shine out of the game. I used to use codes for like GTA when I was younger, but now I just play the games, then use the unlockables. I have learned. The thing I would say about those last two comments that we've read out, no cheaty. Who's next?
Oscar TV. He says it's 2021. Games are now so large and immersive, it's very difficult for players to find time to dedicate to a game before the next one releases. Cheat codes are up to the player. As long as they're enjoying the game, whether it be for story or whatever, then I think it's fine. When you cheat to play online, like headshots, bots, or create Pokemans via third party to give yourself an edge, those ruin the fun for all. As long as it's up to the player's experience being affected, let them play and enjoy.
Okay. I've been moving the script around as well, by the way, while we're talking. So this is probably why it's slightly out of order for you. But Oscar, again, part of the very fabric of the show, we don't hear from him every week, but I'm glad he's got in touch. Is Oscar a cheater?
Yep.
I don't think he's implicated himself in the first person, though.
He said cheat codes are up to the player as long as they are enjoying the game.
Yeah.
Then
As long as they, the players,
Yeah.
as long as they, he's never said I have.
That's true. But I guess that's true.
There's a man who's
Technically-
been trained how to speak legally. Where did we get to? Ginger's Games Room. My adopted son. He started listening to the show. I adopted him as my own son. It says in agreement with that, Graham C. If you've earned them, it's fine. If you're hacking in an online game, you might as well sleep with the heating on because you're going straight to hell. Okay. Strong.
See, that's what I think. It's your game. Do what you want. Don't claim to beat it if you cheated. But I think we're all in agreement. Cheating online is pretty pathetic.
The cheating online, because people get very into these
pathetic.
shooters, don't they? They want the ranking and all that, and all of a sudden it becomes a deadly serious thing. Boring as all hell, if you ask me. But it's different strokes. If you're cheating in that, then you're not actually winning. And therefore you're sat atop a pile of bodies that don't even count. So what are you on top of at this point? And only you know in your heart of hearts that you aren't playing the game legit. But if you're not playing the game legit, but then lord it up over people that are playing the game legit, what a weirdo.
That's true.
Unless, I'm not even going to give them an excuse. Johan, 1/3 of the trifecta of the undead ones, be it Harvey, be it Nowhere Near Berlin, aka Greg. You find them at Enigmatic Productions. You can find them on everywhere, really. You can consume content. So go check it out. They've got a podcast about movies. They've got a section about games, which is more Greg's clientele on the Twitch. They're showing everyone how to play Returnal properly. Probably ought to take some notes because I'm absolutely terrible at the game, but could do with more than 20-minute bursts. Anyway, the Lord of Darkness, or one of the Lords of Darkness, has got in touch. He says, cheating seems divided into two camps. One being codes that can honestly help. Gamers get through some of the harder parts of the game, which I appreciate for such levels as infinite skips, as infinite ammo and health boosts. These ones, if they are local or for your own game, they were perfectly, since it doesn't alter the game and allows you to enjoy it without harming anyone. The second camp, cheating, for players involved, seen it in Fortnite, COD, even Fall Guys, and that's supposed to be silly fun. Why would you cheat in a game about bouncing beans trying to get a crown to get a limited skin? Part of that blame is on the terrible microtransactions that may seem just a cosmetic but are solely bragging rights. Those cheaters want to get those first to gloat and nothing more. They are literally the worst. Haha. Is Johan a cheater?
Do we really want to say if he is, in case they come back? Over here?
I appreciate such... Oh, God. He is, isn't he? We're moving on. Thanks for the comment, Johan. Who else? Who have we got next? The gaming.gram, I would say. Yeah.
He says, I love a good cheat code back in the day. Sadly, though, I feel trophies achievements are partly responsible for killing them off, since 99% of games that have a cheat code won't allow you to unlock trophies if they're activated. I think it's absolutely fine to cheat in single-player games. It's when people start cheating online I have a problem with. I paid for the game, so I should be able to play it how I want. It's only valid when you're not ruining the experience of other people who have also paid for the game. P.S. George and Bobby, what is your favorite cheat of all time?
I think the one that, I don't know if it's a cheat, we've talked about this, the one that's always stuck in my mind more than anything, and I don't know why this is, and every time I see it, I think of it, is NBA Jam. Big head mode, Clinton,
Not
all
cheating,
that sorts. Well, then I don't.
Yeah, it's not a cheat. You're unlocking just another character. It's not like you're unlocking unlimited turbo. Right? Big head mode is just a visual, for stimulation. You're not going to get better dunks with big head mode.
So what's my favorite cheat of all time?
For me, I think it just has to be the ones back in the day on Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City. Just dropping tanks down, unlimited.
See, I never
cause cause wreckage. Oh, you have a 5-star warning? Cheat code.
I have one.
Lower it down.
Do you remember the N64 wrestling games? I'm talking specifically WCW versus NWO, and then WCW versus whatever it was, World Tour. I think World Tour might have been the first one. I think in the first one, and I feel terrible for this, if you're being pinned and you waggle the taunt stick, you get a kick out every time. So you can't be pinned, you're invincible. I used that. One player.
Yeah, but is that a cheat though?
Well, it must be, because they never patched it out. They couldn't patch it out, but it was never in any of the other games.
So it was a developer mistake.
Could have been. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's a cheat I know I used, and I felt really terrible. Advantage. It was an unfair advantage, because it meant even if you got to 2.5 and I just waggled that stick, it was like boom, and mate, he kicked out like foop, he was straight off you. When I first played that game, it was unlike any wrestling game I'd ever played, and it was amazing. Thing is, it took me about 2 weeks to understand what it was they wanted you to do, because it was one of those games where you could press grapple but not press it the same way every time, and therefore you did a different move. So it was like, well, I did down, up, down last time. Why is he now doing that rather than this? And it's only when you realise short press, long press up, long press down. There was so many different moves you could do. But once you memorised
unbelievable amount of moves.
A great game. Absolutely great game. So there's my favourite cheat of all time.
Hey, listen, that's good.
I love questions. If anyone ever wants to ask a question around the topic that we're talking around,
go for it.
That's really what you know, I love the memories. I love your opinions. But what we would love more than anything is questions around the topic that we're talking about, because it just gives us another talking point to jump off to. And you know what? Pulls you in, I'd imagine. Finster Game has been in touch. They said, like most people here have said, I don't see a problem with cheats in a single-player game. Gaming is supposed to be an enjoyable experience. It's up to you how you find that enjoyment. Sometimes challenging aspects of a game can be exciting, but sometimes they suck the fun out of it. If your idea of fun is putting in the tank cheat on Vice City and blowing things up, then go to town. Cheating and hacking on multiplayer games, however, I will never understand. Isn't the point of multiplayer supposed to be about bragging rights, about being top competitor? Exactly right, Finster Gamer. How can anyone possibly feel any sense of achievement beating someone knowing they can't actually do it without cheats? It's basically the gaming equivalent of trolling. Personally, I feel sorry that they're so bad at a game that they have to cheat to have feel some form of self-worth. One would imagine though that they don't, unless they're completely stupid.
They don't care.
Well, what's the point?
Cheaters cheat, they don't care.
Well,
sometimes cheaters have fun messing with other players. That's the real enjoyment they get.
I think knowing
that you just shot me with a shotgun point blank, and my health did not drop down, and then I stabbed with a knife. And then knowing the reaction of that person, cursing up a storm, you son of a, and then trying to go back at him, and then dying again, and then the kid who's cheating is just laughing, having a good time. That's his enjoyment.
That is. Tell me, who's next out the post bag, friend?
8-bit sniper.
Actually,
he is a new listener. I like a. Oh, before we read this comment, is Finster a cheater?
I don't see a problem with cheats in a single player game.
Man, there you go. 8-bit sniper.
He doesn't see a problem with it, but has he done it? Gaming is supposed to be enjoyable, and it's up to you to find that enjoyment. If your idea of fun is putting in the tank cheat on Vice City and blowing things up, then go to town.
He doesn't say he's a cheater. He's not opposed to people cheating.
Personally, I feel sorry that they're so bad at games, they have to cheat. You see, I don't see a problem with cheats, but he's not willing to condemn himself.
Mm-hmm.
Clever. He's written that well.
It did.
8-bit sniper.
He says, I like a good challenge, but if the game is overwhelmingly difficult or just feels broken and you don't have a lot of time in your day to play video games or just enjoy savoring a game and playing a short burst, I think save states are justified. That is cheating.
Save states are cheating. So
Imagine
hard.
going to the final boss, save state, you die, reload. Back in the day, when your mana continues, first level, baby.
I know.
That's an unfair advantage.
But the video game did crash. The video game market did crash. These games were complete pony.
Still cheating.
Okay. Retro Gaming Dragons got in touch. I think they're a new listener. I'm not sure, but they're going to get a clap anyway. They're a new
listener.
Retro Gaming Dragon, they wear their cards on the chest. I'm not going to lie. He says cheating can be made fun, especially in games like GTA. Yeah. Talking to new listeners.
New listener.
Digital monkery.
There's no real point in me adding anything at this point. At Vince the Gamer has expressed my thoughts. I'm likely to say it with more eloquence. So, hi, waving hand emoji.
How did that comment get through? Okay, that's fine. He agrees with Vince the Gamer. Therefore, I think he doesn't agree with cheating, but he might have cheated once or twice in his life. The second part of the trifecta, that is the Holy Trinity of Darkness. Harvey Retro's got in touch. Yes, they've been guests on this show, and if you want to go back, it's called Movies, Games and Videos, I think I indulgently called it. No, it's not about the 90s ITV TV show. It's about Harvey Retro, Johan, and Greg giving us their thoughts on video games that became movies.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was that way around.
100%.
Time passes by, and it was probably one of our greatest episodes. Go on,
it was.
And enjoy it because it's lots of fun. If you listen to some of the backstory of the show and know that they're vampiric lords, they played into that so hard, but so well. Full credit to them. Anyway, I only remember using cheats in the 16-bit era, especially on Mega Drive games. So he's a cheat, sadly. My favourite example is hearing about unlocking Supersonic on Sonic 2, but not having the skill to get every Chaos Emerald, which is tough on those 16-bit Sonics. So I put the cheat in. Glad I did. Everyone should experience playing a Supersonic. It's great fun. Nowadays, I don't really come across them. Are they even still a thing? Unless you're playing a game that uses them as nostalgic novelty, like Doom Eternal. I like what they did with them. In today's gaming, I feel like frequent auto-saving is a little bit like cheating. Oh my God. Sometimes you can get through a section with beginner's luck with no clue what you're doing, and then it auto-saves and it doesn't feel earned. You see, I feel like that sometimes. I have to admit, you kind of like bum rush it, as I would call it, or kind of like just look it through a section, but you don't quite know what's happened, but it auto-saves, so you checkpoint into the area beyond. There's been times where in games have felt like, oh, how did I even get here? It's tough. He says, I'm the kind of person that liked the save crystals on Tomb Raider. They used to keep you going for a while, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
I can't turn this off yet. Why? Because it's hours to the next save crystal?
Yeah.
And I might die?
Like Resident Evil, Typewriter.
How can we... Exactly. How were we sane putting ourselves through this?
We did it, though.
We did.
But nowadays, auto-saving is part of the game.
Have you seen... Look at the position I've managed to now get myself in.
It's amazing.
I don't think I could be more reclined recording this show. I think it's changed my voice pitch, but I'm not that bothered.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Joe Woodward 5871. He's a new
listener.
What's he got to say for us?
Cheats are fine in single player. In multiplayer games, they just ruin the fun. But if you're on your own and it's your game, you should be allowed to do with it whatever you like. Developers giving you the tools to cause chaos is just their way of making it easier on you, since modders will do it otherwise. It doesn't say he's a cheater,
Cheats are fine in single player.
But he's agreeing with cheats are fine.
Of course he
And
is.
like I said, it's your game. You already won.
Well, Joe Woodward, thank you for getting in touch. Welcome to the family. If you want to take this relationship a little bit further, you know where the Discord is. Or if you don't, it's in the link tree. We're going to give them the cut of the rubber. We're going to say they're not cheaters.
Yeah, they're not. But they don't condone it.
Okay, well, let me bring in my next witness. That guy, 1981. He says, I think it depends. Is that guy 1981? They're a new
listener. And it's also a special listener.
Why?
That's Marlon. AKA my boy Marlon.
That's your boy.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone wants to follow what's become a veritable gaming celebrity, he's on the show as often as me and Bobby, seemingly, because every week, my boy Marlon gets a shout out for what games he's been playing with the beloved Bobby. Well, that guy, 1981, aka my boy Marlon, he says, I think it depends. I'm going to give him my voice so you can react with yours. Where's he from in the States?
Here, New York.
I was going to try and use my New York accent, but I don't think it's wise. I think it depends. So now he's from Lincolnshire. I think it depends. No one really ever wants to cheat, but it depends on the type of gamer you are. I myself will go at least a week or two at most before, if I get stuck, before I Google it. And even then, it's considered cheating because I couldn't figure it out. If knowledge is power and looking for ways to get through something is cheating, then shiz. I created my whole life. That was me doing a lol because people don't say lol. Well, I say lol, but he laughed out loud. I think I could have acted better.
That's good.
But I want to read that in a natural way. So he's a cheater. He's not even making any bones about that, Bobby, at all. But he's cheating in a way that I would cheat. He's looking at the internet because he's got stuck and his little gamer brain can't quite work it out. Yeah, I don't want to throw him under the bus for that, but I guess we'll have to because I threw myself under the bus. Last two, I've rummaged in the postbag, Bobby. There's 2 bits of paper left in there. Do you want the first bit of paper or the second bit of paper?
I'll do the first one.
Okay.
It's a new listener. ADX88.
Yeah.
Cheat codes are a way of the developers saying thank you alongside glitches that don't get patched. It's a code in a code.
Do you remember this is again, I've gone off topic. Do you remember Mike Rouse slowly embracing new listener? The first one, he was like, He wasn't sure, was he? He didn't know what was going on. But by the end, he was like, oh,
in it to win it.
Yeah. Sorry, ADX88. Thanks for messaging in. Cheat codes are a way of the developer saying thanks alongside glitches. Thank you, patch. It's a code in a code. That's my side glitch. That's my glitch from NWO. He's come in as a star witness to get me off the hook. Thank you, ADX88. Top of the class. Is he a cheater?
He doesn't give himself away.
No. Once again, he's been trained, hasn't he? Last person out the bag. I believe it's a new listener. I think we can say they're a cheater.
Yeah.
New listener. Gene.B11 has got in touch. And they say GTA San Andreas, I can't agree with this, but it says, would have been awful without cheats. Lol. What? So unless he's never played it, but we're to assume he is.
Because how would he know that's not awful?
Yeah. So he's a cheater.
See, so overall, if you want to cheat, it doesn't really matter. It's up to you. Have fun.
Completely.
Do what you want to do. But if you're going to legitimately say you beat something, then by definition,
someone,
yes, you cannot act dishonestly or unfairly in order to gain an advantage. So did you beat Zelda? Yes. Did you look at a playthrough guide? Yes. Boom. Didn't beat it. Legit. Did you have fun? Yes. Then sometimes that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's very easy for us to sit and judge. And as I say that, I mean, we're joking because no one really cares.
Of course. Well, I've also cheated with certain games back in the day, but also who cares?
Yeah. And I think that's where I'm getting to with it. Like, everyone's got very animated about this topic, I would say. And we love a good topic because we love to hear people's thoughts, and we love to hear them be insightful, and we love to hear them add granularity to the show because they've brought in a new idea, or maybe if it rubs people up the wrong way. I don't mind as long as it starts a conversation. We've always said this. And if it starts a conversation here or online or wherever, I don't really care. But people talking about games is always a good thing. Cheating, you know, in the grand scheme of things, this is my humble opinion, I don't really mind. As long as you're not using it to make out you're the best at COD or Fortnite or whatever it is. And at that point in time, the biggest mug in the room is yourself. Because if you ever then had to compete and you couldn't bring your cheat rig with you, you're not going to do very well, are you? You're going to be lower than average because you've never actually been putting yourself through the mill to refine your skills. So you're kind of ruining your own time, really. But that's completely fine. This week, seeing as we're underwater, Bobby, I would suggest to you that he's been riding Stingrays, and like a devil of the deep blue sea, he's been harvesting fish eggs to sell on the market because he knows a tiny bit of profit when he sees it. And when he embraces the underwater maritime world, Bobby, he literally embraces it fully. Stingray is god of the aquatic zone. Can you hear that? I don't know how this is possible. Possibly because this show is run on a tighter budget than, I don't know, something with a tight budget. But we've only got one sound effect. Now, be as above water, be as on the 50th floor of a penthouse. That's that same sound playing. And even though we're 60 fathoms under in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, here he comes. He's tearing up the sub-aqua drive. It's time for a peek in what we affectionately call Stingray's boot. What's nestled between some counterfeit nappies and a dodgy copy about a friend all this week. These are new release highlights. This is the first time I've slipped in a while. I should have cheated. Cheat code unlocked. This week for May 1st to June 6th, 2021. Listeners, these are out on digital, physical, or will be by the time this podcast is in your feed, but could be. They could be. I'm just warning you that they might be region dependent.
Yep.
I've seen a mummy. In fact,
Me too.
It's noted on the script. I'll go first. Let me pull
That's
out.
mine.
Oh, that's yours. Well, then you go first, sir.
Operation Tango, PC, PS5, Xbox Series X,
Yes.
PS4, Xbox One, June 1st. It takes two to save the world in this cooperative spy adventure. Pair up with a friend as agent or hacker with only your voices to connect you, and work together to bring a high-tech global menace to its knees. So if you can imagine we were together, but with a budget. This would be
one thing I'd say about that. I don't know if it's on Games Pass, but I know it's on PSN Game of the Month.
Yep.
Which is cool. They've been quite. Those games you played with your boy Marlon, I think, where they were like you two working together collaboratively. Yep. As part of this play at home thing, they've consistently dropped these games, and I have to admit,
smart.
Yeah, maybe they're not been for me, but for play at home and keeping people at home playing games together, this idea is fantastic. It's available on all formats, so it's not an exclusive or anything like that. And as far as I've heard, it's reviewed okay. It's not like a awe-inspiring game, but I think there's a little token throwaway. I think some people should find something. Let's face it, I guess the idea is that you play Operation Tango as part of a 3-turn rotation plus the game that you've bought that month. So you've been given 3 games, potentially. You're a PS5 owner to get access to the full library. You've been given 3 games for free to play, plus the one tentpole title that Sony normally reduce on a monthly basis. You've got 4 games in rotation. Should have finished them by the time the first of the month rolls around. It's a vicious train to stay on, by the way. This is why backlogs go suddenly out of control. You've got, let's say, the next tentpole game is Ratchet & Clank, and you've got Operation Tango and whatever else they brought out this month, all to play for. Boom. Yeah, interesting. Operation Tango, don't think it's for me. Are you going to play that?
Yeah. Just have to wait for mom to get a PS5.
Okay. I don't know what's coming first.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay. Up next, Stonefly for the PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, Switch. Really ought to be on the Stadia, that. June 1st, harness the wind and soar through the wilderness of Stonefly, a chill and tranquil action adventure game about self-discovery. Oh dear. I thought it unlocked the cheat. Self-discovery, legacy and belonging. Glide your mech strategically among beautiful flora and dangerous fauna, confronting hungry bugs, adventures and memorable characters.
Up next, Super Animal Royale. It's a fight for survival. Super Animal Royale is a 64-player frantic top-down 2D battle royale where murderous animals fight tooth, claw, and machine gun across an abandoned safari park. Sounds cool.
June 1st, Xbox One. Okay, I think it's also on PC as well. So I'll do two back-to-back because we've got this and then My Mummy. So we'll go Hokka Life, PC, June 2. Hop off the train and into your new life in the village of Hokko. Take over the old workshop and get creative. Use creative materials and design everything in town with complete creative freedom. What type of town will you build? Okay. Fair enough. Sounds like Dragon Quest builders. This is My Mummy. And for me...
I could have made a bet.
Why?
When I read it, I knew it.
Okay. Well, this is a PC exclusive at the moment, and I hope that it comes to console because it's the magnificent Truffle Pigs coming to PC on June 3rd. To be honest with you, calling someone a truffle pig is the sort of thing I would say to insult somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You stinking truffle pig. But it's completely above board and PG, so we're fine. It's My Mummy. It's the Magnificent Truffle Pigs as a first-person romantic metal detecting game. But what, George? What? It combines laid-back detecting and exploration with a strong narrative, all set in a beautiful English countryside. It's a game about trying to find something. Now, on that blurb alone, you might think, George has been at the glue. Not true, okay? This game is developed by the person who made Everybody's Gone to Rapture, and we know what a big hit that was. Yes, it might be a walking simulator, but the emotion that's involved within that period of time, if they can capture magic in a bottle twice, and one would think it's a first-person romantic metal detecting game set in a laid-back detecting and exploration with a strong narrative in the English countryside, has potential to be that game. Next, what we got?
Pro Cycling Manager 2021, PC June 3rd. Manage one of 80 teams in over 260 races and 700 stages, from strategy to recruitment. It's up to you alone to make the best decisions. Experience more realism and authenticity with the new added features for 2021.
Well, one would imagine it's going to have its work cut out because launching on exactly the same day is Tour de France 2021, PC, PS4 and Xbox. Okay, so June 3rd, you got options with the yellow jersey, with the official game of the Tour de France 2021. All 21 stages and the biggest classics are included. Experience an objective system, a redesigned My Tour mode, and other features.
I wonder what the sales price for these games are. Like, do they sell? Like, you have to really be into racing.
Tour de France. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I in my mind, people who are into the Tour de France 2021 are more than likely to have their own road bike and go out and in their own mind feel like they're climbing Ventoux, whatever it is. Okay. I don't see them getting home and then turning on the Tour de France. I see maybe teenager kids who are into the Tour de France on the edges, who may have a road bike and maybe mooch around the park with their friends, get this game one afternoon because they've got vouchers or their auntie buys it for them or whatever. You know, if you're playing Tour de France, get in contact with us. Tell us who you are and what demographic you represent. What's next?
Winds of Change for Switch, June 3rd. lead the rebellion, build your army, and shape the world with your choices. A story-heavy adventure game with multiple endings, romance options, and non-linear storytelling. A vast dark fantasy world waiting to be explored. Inspired by Dragon Age and Mass Effect. Fully voice acted by a stellar cast. Sounds good.
I couldn't quite.
I don't know what it is.
On that. It seems to be, you know that.
If it's turn-based, I'm out.
Because it's a PG show, I'm going to use this word, but it's not meant to be insulting to anyone. You know this craze of furries.
Mm-hmm.
All the characters in Winds of Change look like furries.
Really?
They are like bipedal wolves with very sort of, you know, when you see furries on YouTube, people have got dressed up and they put the suit on. They look a certain way. The heads and the shapes and the masks all look very similar. All the people in Winds of Change look like that. Whether that's a design choice or whether it was by accident or not, I don't know. The Last Kids on Earth, next one out the bin. It says, and the Staff of Doom, out for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on June 4th. Join Jack and his friends in an epic post-apocalyptic quest to save our world from the queen of slime monsters. That's the sort of blurb I expect to see on a game from 1993 with the words "tood" and "rad" on the front of the box.
Exactly.
But I'm interested. What's next?
The Persistence Enhanced. PC,
in fact,
PS5.
May I recommend you check that one out? Because do you know what it reminded me of?
Huh.
And I might be wrong. Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
This one.
The Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of
Oh,
Doom.
really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll check it out. So the Persistence Enhanced PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, June 4th. Survive a horde of doomed deep space colony starship overrun with horrific and murderous aberrations. Explore, evade, and fight your way through the depths to bring the ship back to Earth. Gather resources, upgrade abilities, and fabricate an arsenal of weapons in this sci-fi
Stingray, we've got another rogue
horror rogue-like. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Can't have an episode without a roguelike. Next out the bin, Sniper Ghost Warrior Contacts 2, PC, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One, June 4th. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 is a modern warfare shooter set in the Middle East. Play as Raven, contract sniper assassin, as you take a series of targets across a dramatic single-player campaign. With extreme range shots excluding 1,000 meters, gear up for the most challenging entry to the series yet.
And last but not least,
Wait,
Mighty.
stop. Unless that's a gold mining game. Forget the Mighty Goose. It's out PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch June 5th. Sack James the Work Experience Boy because he's basically left the blurb in there. It's a gold rush. With that, we know we can't let him go back to his subaquatic lair until I never want to leave this submarine, by the way. I'm having a great time. I'm wondering in post whether we should add submarine sounds to the whole episode.
I mean, why not? It's kind of hot in here, though. But other than that, it's been okay.
Okay.
We sound better because I guess the echoing or
The
lack
resonance
thereof.
of the I agree. Yeah. We're certainly getting hacked less than we were. So,
Oh, for sure.
and for those that go back and listen to the subtlety, we've been getting hacked the whole time we've been in New York.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time the show has been in New York, since Tom went to New York, we've been getting hacked and listened to.
They're putting cheat codes in our stuff.
But if you want to pick up on the nuances, you can. If you don't, let them sail right past you. My VHS pick of the week is going to be... Oh, I should have prepared, but I haven't. So I'm going to pick Man of Steel.
Really?
No, I'm not. I'm going to pick... Yeah, I am.
I'm going to cheat.
Well, that's the episode for it.
I'm going to pick Wrath of Man.
Wrath of Man.
Guy Ritchie's new film.
Oh.
Starring Jason Statham.
Got an early copy out the boot from the Ray. I like what you've done there. Well, with that, he's gone. He's hightailed it out of here. No one mentioned any watertight doors, nor even depressurized the cabin, and he's gone. Strange, I know, but considering he sounded like he'd torn up a pebble drive to get here, one questions what the hell is even going on with the UCP these days. With that done, and anyone who paid attention at the front door of the show, nearly did a rhyme there, but that would have been technically a little bit rude. Imagine for a moment that I'd have asked Bobby what he'd been playing, and imagine now for a moment that I'm a little bit of a nosy co-host, and I want to know, what are you going to be playing? In fact, I've got to reword that. What are you hoping to play? Because, the script is legal now.
Continue Wreckfest, for sure.
Yes.
Probably finish that. And then I have a couple games I could play. I'm not sure what is left. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But that for sure. And then Alien Nation with the boys. Just keep on keeping on.
You got Immortals Phoenix Rising still?
Mm-hmm.
Gonna see that through? Or you got Dark Souls, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Is that it, or have you got one other one in your stash?
No, I have Demon Souls. I have Immortal Phoenix Rising, Resident Evil 8.
Oh yeah,
definitely getting Ratchet and Clank, but I have a little small ones in between. So I don't know. I gotta balance it out. I think Maneater was Wreckfest definitely a totally different palette cleanser completely.
Yeah,
I never played anything like this before, like recently at all. So it's fun. So I have Concrete Genie, so I could play something else than Concrete Genie.
Have you not played Concrete Genie?
No.
If you want an,
I heard it was phenomenal.
I really enjoyed it, and do you know what? The platinum, as long as you're not a complete moron, you can get the platinum.
It's yours.
It's yours. Even I've got the platinum in that, and I think I had to do one backtrack, and it was only because in the early stages of the game, I think misconstrued exactly what they wanted me to do where, but by the end of the game, I knew exactly what was needed where and how to get X, and just went back and smashed it and did it, And I think I remember what the issue was is I'd done multiple drawings, but not every different drawing. So I might have done like 3 trees. Actually, what they wanted me to do was like a tree, a cow, a son, a dog, and all that, and make a scene. And I just, But when I went back, it dropped. So I had a wonderful time with that game. It's not too serious. It's just fun. It's uplifting.
I think I may do that.
And the visuals as well look great. And
you know what I'm not a fan of?
What?
Like, I love horror games, but I don't like getting the platinums for horror games. Because sometimes you gotta play the game over so many times. It gets boring. And they're not that long.
No.
So it's like, once you know the story and see what happens, it's like watching a horror movie again.
Well, they've always demanded you replay through them again, haven't they? And as you say, I find that, like, oh, look out, mate, tap me on this. Because nothing in a game, I don't think, is grotesque enough to actually scare me from a gross point of view. Some of the stuff that can get in your head, like when I was younger, maybe something like Fatal Frame might have caused me a few issues, but now it'd be like, not really.
Even the beginning Resident Evil. All right, you could do Jill, you could do Chris.
Yeah.
But then you could do something like, why? I did it already. Like, I'm done. Like Silent Hill, there's no real reason to play it again. You just play it, you're done. But Resident Evil seems to be like, play it with this, now do the knife. It's like the standard.
I was laying in the bath.
I just don't want to do them again.
I was laying in the bath, and something you said recently, I don't know why you just reminded me of this, resonated in my brain. It was this. George. They've never really done an open world horror game. Up out the water I came. I was like, he's right. They've never done an open world horror game. Thing is, I don't really like horror games, but if I was tasked with making an open
Here
world
we
horror
go.
game, how would I do it? Okay, all right. Well, what about one area of a Victorian shire, and within it there's a haunted wood? Within it is these haunted caves, there's a haunted house, there's all these different stories that maybe pull from different tropes of horror. And you're free and able to go to any one of these haunted locations on this island. Now, depending what order you do them in, kind of depends how the story's going to play out and when you get access to the last boss, which is hidden, even though it's open world. So you maybe have to go and fight a werewolf in the woods, and maybe you have to fight like a leprechaun. And it's on this scale. So you can go straight in and do a werewolf if you're feeling tasty enough, but the game would recommend you go down and fight a leprechaun over here. You know, you go into like a dingly dell, and then you see him, and then you don't, and then he's like, you got to find my gold, and it's all a bit sort of strange, and he's sort of playing with your mind, and the whole landscape's changing. And then if you want to fight the werewolf, it's far more visceral, and like the color palette changes from the greens and the blues and the tranquil sort of emeralds to like dark, and it suddenly starts to rain, and you see the transformation, and you pick up little bits of paper that build the lore. And if you get freaked out, you can sort of leave that area and then go do the kraken in the sea, or this or that or the other. And it's basically like either an island or something kind of set in Victorian times, because I feel like it's got that emotion to it. It's kind of scary, it's Lovecraftian, and that's it. Like, I don't know enough about it, but if I was to,
I love it.
the question appeared in my head, but George, and up out the water I came. It was like, you know, Jesus being reborn. I thought, what would I do? So I need to, that's my first shot across the bows. I need to go away and deep think it, but that's my first open world game. There you go.
You
There's a
know,
horror game.
Rebellion is hiring. You can, I don't think they made a horror game.
I don't think they want someone who just sits in a room and comes up with good ideas.
That's right up their alley. That would be beautiful, bro.
You could even do it in a
man.
Steam. If, just thinking that out loud again, if it was Victorian and you had all these different creatures and you were leaning into the right hand side of it all, like that Sean Connery film based on a cartoon, was it League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or whatever it's called? You could do like a steampunk vibe to it, like you were like a Victorian paranormal hunter.
Yeah.
It's an action-y based game to keep the momentum going, because I don't think you can have someone, but there are still jump scares and some things that get into your head, like there's maybe banshees that sort of appear in the mist and call you, and you're like, what is that? Maybe they're asking for help and you get wrapped up in it. Another one of those random encounters. We get distracted. Like I say, it's only early doors for my concept, and I'm not even into horror games. Okay, well,
what are you going to play?
Oh, God. Just Vita, I think. I'm so happy I've got the Vita. It's like when you can't do remote play, like, yeah, it's a bit of a grind, but the Vita's got enough stuff going on, and well, it's such a great machine. I'm so lucky to have it. If I was remote playing on my phone, a PS5 game, I don't think I'd be very chuffed, to be honest with you. Not because the game is bad, just because remote play, I don't know. It worked for me on the Vita. I don't particularly, as we've said before, want to carry around a controller in my pocket everywhere I go.
Yeah.
With that all being said and done, Bobby, I think that's about as outrageous as I'm going to get this week. It's been a bit quiet for me, and I apologise to all the listeners. I can't always be everywhere all at once. Is that all we've got time for?
Yeah.
Well, as always, listeners, thank you for your time. We look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. Remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, Bobby.
Peace out.
Take care.